Welcome to Rex Arthur TV. This is Rex Arthur Show, where we discuss LGBTQ issues with an LGBTQ approach, with an LGBTQ perspective, and a humanistic approach in an LGBTQ plus planet, where each and every one of us belongs to one letter in the 10-letter sexual alphabet LGBTQIAAP. I know, and I hope you know, which letter you belong to. Now, we are going on running very well. Today, we're going to finish the marathon of UDHR, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, and we are now on lap 23. That is Article 23, running very well. This is the right to work, and everyone has a right to work, to free choice of employment, to just and favorable conditions, and to protection against unemployment. Everyone without any discrimination has a right to equal pay for equal work. Everyone who works has a right to just and favorable remuneration, ensuring for himself and his family an existence worth of human dignity and supplemented if necessary by other means of social protection. Everyone has a right to form and join trade unions for the protection of his interests. I like number 3, that you can be supplemented by other means of social protection, and this is what we've been discussing in the 21st century, is the universal basic income. It is the newest social protection measure that is being introduced in very many countries in the world, and I am a supporter of UBI because I believe when you give people money, you increase the purchasing power in the economy. And if you have and it's good for a country that has, if the government owns most of the companies, they will make a kill, because the money will come back to the government through selling the products that they own through UBI. But nonetheless, even if you do not own many companies in the government, in the country as a government, you will still make money, because UBI will come back to you when the companies that are selling other things get UBI money. They will be able to pay tax, they will be able to pay their workers, and the government gets back the money through tax. So it's still a win-win situation for governments that own companies and governments that don't own companies. So don't worry, UBI is good. It's injecting money in the system, and that's why I'm a supporter of UBI. And definition of right to work is here in the International Covenant on Economic and Social Rights, and includes the right for everyone to the opportunity to gain his living by work which he freely chooses or accepts, and will take appropriate steps to safeguard this right. So you have to be free to choose whichever work you want to do, and remuneration. And you see migrant workers, this is a very important article for migrant workers who can seek alternative employment, participate in public work schemes, and they can also go through retraining as they are working in the country. And it's very elaborate. Of course, the reason why we're not going so much on these things is because we are focusing on the UDA, which is already gone through it. So we're only touching very important things here. So there is protection against dismissal. There is unemployment benefits, access to public work schemes intended to combat unemployment, access to alternative employment in the event of loss of work or termination or other remunerated activity. So this is very important, because sometimes just because you have a job doesn't mean you won't lose it. And when you lose it, there should be a fallback system. This is what we're encouraging many African governments to do, because most countries, like there's a situation in East Africa whereby a very big company, a supermarket, a retail company, closed its shop, and very many people lost jobs, and there was no fallback plan for those people who lost jobs. And what governments need to understand is, when people lose jobs, the government loses money in the economy, because these people are not able to participate in the economy. So you must have a fallback plan in case people lose jobs. One of them is the unemployment benefit scheme. so that if you lose your job, you can revert back you go back to the employment office, and they put you back on the unemployment benefits scheme program until you get a job. When you get a job, then you are removed from the unemployment benefit scheme, and now you're back to employment. That's how you do it. There's the fallback plan is having a benefit system like that. So slowly Africa will be able to do that, and it will help people secure their jobs. And there's rights to free choice of profession, unemployment, right to vocational training, retraining, exactly what we had gone through in the other article of social security. And also disabled people have a right to work and to get equal pay as an able person. And that's what you need to understand. But of course, you know that, like as I told you, the reasons people still feel they live in a patriarchal society where men are valued is because men tend to the jobs where the jobs that are available go to very many men. And when that happens, there is something that happens. Even if disabled people get jobs, they may not get the jobs that really pay you very well. Like I've told you, construction jobs are very good because everybody's in construction. Everybody needs construction. So you will be always working in a year. So you may tend to have more money than the minority people who don't have. So that's why some patriarchy is not a very easy thing to destroy. And this is why I left the movement of deconstructing patriarchy for one reason. It's because just imagine if we destroy the construction industry because it's so patriarchal, what will we build? That's what I always ask feminists sometimes. And so what I've now encouraged is uniarchy. Uniarchy is the combination of patriarchy and matriarchy, whereby men and women are equal and they work together as one. Uniarchy. And in uniarchy, it is whether there's a patriarchal system or a matriarchal system, they are part of the system. And no system is discriminated against. You don't discriminate against women, neither do you discriminate against men, neither do you discriminate against disabled people, neither do you discriminate against LGBTQ persons. As I told you, the body is filled with very many systems. So you cannot discriminate against the skeletal system because you don't like bones. If you do that, the body will collapse. Same, you cannot discriminate against the circulatory system. You do that, the body will collapse. So you cannot discriminate against matriarchal system because if you do that, the body will collapse. You cannot discriminate against the patriarchal system because if you do that, the body will collapse. You cannot discriminate against the disabled person system because if you do that, the body will collapse. You cannot discriminate against the LGBTQ system because if you do that, the body will collapse. So what you do is you make these systems work together. A healthy body is a body where all its systems are working together. And that is what you call inclusive government, inclusion. And that's what you do and to make a system work very well. So right to work is a right that belongs to everyone, whether LGBTQ, whether disabled, whether a woman or a man. Everybody has a right to work and should choose and work in the place he wants to work, and he can even leave the work in legally. Of course, these are theories, but they should be implemented. When they are implemented, then we'll have a perfect or a utopia. All right. I don't think I'm going to talk much about that because I've already, it's as simple as that. Of course, you can see promotes the opportunities of self-employment, entrepreneurship, development of cooperatives, starting one own business. Yes, all of these are, there's a lot to do. Government is very big and life is very big. Okay, thank you for that.